Leute, und damit herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video auf dem Reaction-Kanal. Heute schauen wir uns ein Video an, nämlich warum Lego Fluch der Karibik scheiterte. Was ich jetzt sagen will, bevor wir das Video jetzt anschauen, ist, ich liebe die Filme. Fluch der Karibik ist, oder Pirates of the Caribbean, das sind meine absoluten Lieblingsfilme, auch meine Kindheitsfilme. Ich liebe die Filme einfach. Ich liebe die Filme einfach so sehr. Und ich liebe auch Lego. Lego ist, ich meine, man sieht es vielleicht hier im Hintergrund. Ich liebe Lego auch einfach über alles. Ich will mir das Video jetzt mal anschauen. Nämlich warum Lego Fluch der Karibik scheiterte.
In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, a short-lived Lego theme that is...
Guck auch direkt schon dieses Set, ja. Das Windmühlen-Set, das war so geil, auch im Film. Einfach so geil, aber also wie gesagt, ich habe die Sets nicht. Ich habe das einzige richtige Pirates of the Caribbean Set, was ich habe, ist das letzte Set, was rauskam, also das von 2017, nämlich vom 5. Teil. Aber ich habe ein paar der alten Minifiguren, habe ich mal so gekauft auf Amazon und so.
Coming back very soon. I want to take a look at everything we saw from this theme.
Wir bekommen ja jetzt auch in ein paar Tagen sowieso die neue Black Pearl als Set, werde ich mir auch sofort kaufen, aber ich weiß nicht, wird das hier auch nochmal angesprochen im Video? Ich glaube ja. Ja doch, das kommt auch noch vor, das Set. Also wir bekommen ja in ein paar Tagen wieder ein neues Pirates of the Caribbean Set nach 8 Jahren und das ist halt die UCS Black Pearl oder die ja, Black Pearl, neue Black Pearl halt.
From these sets to the minifigures and even a video game tie-in. So make sure to watch this full video to know exactly why this theme failed and how it's coming back. So what's up LEGO fans, it's LegoManCam, and let's start with the first and only main wave of sets, which was released on May the 1st, 2011. Consisting of a strong number of 8 sets. So
ja, weil die Sache ist, also wird ja auch noch gesagt, aber wir haben halt wirklich nur damals 2011 die Sets bekommen und dann 2017 das eine Set zum 5. Teil und das war's.
Set from the first movie, Curse of the Black Pearl. This is
und jetzt eben das neue 2025.
Die Murder. This set was $20 with 152 pieces and 4 minifigures. The set depicted the ending of the first film and shows the fight between Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, where Jack Sparrow steals some of the gold, giving himself the curse to be able to turn into a skeleton and fight Barbossa. This set is very small with a molded...
Also ich habe zum Beispiel hier die Barbossa Minifigur. Ich weiß nicht, ob das genau die aus diesem Set ist, aber ich habe auf jeden Fall diese Barbossa Minifigur. Zwar ohne das Schwertdings hier und den Apfel, aber die Barbossa Minifigur habe ich.
As well,
Die
which
alte.
gives you lots of gold and even has a feature to allow you to change Barbossa between his human and skeleton form. For just $20, I think this is a great first set from the wave, with Elizabeth being an awesome minifigure too, and Jack Sparrow even including an alternate skeleton faceprint. There were then also 2 sets from Dead Man's Chest released, but first let's look at some of these sets from On Stranger Tides, the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean film, which released...
Was ich auch crazy finde ist, und das ist eigentlich, ich weiß nicht, weil darüber redet fast keiner, aber wir haben damals zum ersten Teil Sets bekommen, wir haben zum zweiten Teil Sets bekommen, wir haben zum 4. Teil Sets bekommen und zum 5. Teil haben wir auch ein Set bekommen, aber zum 3. Teil haben wir noch kein einziges, oder haben wir ist damals kein einziges Set rausgekommen. Die haben einfach den 3. Teil geskippt.
The same time as these sets, and is
Die haben
the
den
reason
einfach
why
geskippt.
these sets existed in the first place. First was the Fountain of Youth, a very similar set to Isla de Muerta, once again including 3 minifigures and a skeleton. This set had a very simple yet nice looking build. The vinyl pieces which were used to simulate a waterfall work really well, and the minifigures of Barbossa and Blackbeard look great, with Blackbeard's massive molded beard element. At just $20 once again, with 128 pieces, this was another amazingly affordable set, which LEGO could really take some notes on today. Now let's look at the smaller set from this theme, called the Captain's Cabin. At just $12, this depicted the inside of Blackbeard's ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, which we'll see a little later on.
Auch ein
This
sehr, sehr
came
geiles
with
Set, muss ich
95
sagen.
pieces and 3
Also die Queen Anne's
minifigures. You
Revenge.
got the most simple Jack Sparrow minifigure, as well as 2 zombies, and while being small, the build gave you some great pieces, like 2 of these ship in a bottle prints and a world globe, making this just a really nice small diorama. Next is a really interesting set to me being the London Escape, once again from the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. At just $50, you got 462 pieces and 5 minifigures, building this small house and 2 horse and carts, taken directly from the opening scene of On Stranger Tides. You got 2 soldiers and a coach driver, as well as Gibbs for the first time, but the Jack Sparrow here is who looks really great. He includes this elaborate hair hat mold, which just elevates the figure compared to the previous versions. The building sadly has a very limited interior, however the 2 coaches look nice, even being able to put a figure in the larger one. Overall, this set is just really unique in my opinion, as it comes with some cool figures and a different build, making this set really stand out amongst this theme. Now, as I said earlier on, these sets were all released to tie into the newly releasing at the time On Stranger Tides movie in 2011, releasing just a week after these sets first launched. However, releasing just a further 3 days after the movie, on May 10th, was the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean video game.
Ja, also übrigens Fun Fact, das Game spielen wir auch ja gerade auf meinem Gaming-Kanal durch.
This was another classic Lego TT game that featured levels from all 4 of the movies in one game. This game is so many people's favorites of all the Lego game and is something that is completely different to any of the Star Wars or Indiana Jones Lego games.
Also ich muss auch sagen, das Game ist bis jetzt wirklich sehr, sehr geil.
I do find it crazy to believe here how the movie, Lego sets, and video game all released within about a week of each other, which is something that I cannot remember happening in more recent times, such as with something like The Force Awakens, where the sets came in September, the movie in December, and the video game in June of the following year. Anyway, let's get back into some more of these sets, where now we'll look at both of the sets from the second Pirates movie, Dead Man's Chest, being my personal favorite from the series. The first set is one of the most dark names for a Lego set that I've ever seen, with a lot of people calling this one of the most controversial Lego sets, and this is the Cannibal Escape. This is showing the scene from the beginning of Dead Man's Chest, where Jack Sparrow is about to be eaten and sacrificed to some kind of gods, and this set gives you 4 minifigures, 279 pieces for just $30. Something that I would love to point out is how the box has both of these figures appropriately just labeled as cannibals, which I thought was kind of funny, but regardless, this is actually a really fun set with a small hut and a cage for the cannibals, as well as a spit roast. There's then the throne for Jack Sparrow to sit on as well, and of course the cage is a tad downsized from the movie, but it's totally fine for a small set. Again, I think that what stands out about this
Ich finde das Gesicht aber auch wirklich sehr, sehr geil gemacht. Hier von Jack.
Theme that we've seen so far is all of these really affordable sets that don't feel like you're getting barely anything for your money. They aren't mechs or microfighters, they're fully fledged scenes and sets.
Also die Sache ist, die Sets kosten ja aktuell auch alles viel, viel teurer. Also ich glaube, das hier kostet mittlerweile 200 Euro. Also wirklich, das ist kein Witz. Crazy.
Remember, these are almost 14, 15 years old. Continuing on, the other set
oder wie das hier, also das Windmühlen-Set, ich glaube, ich habe das letztens für 300 Euro oder so gesehen irgendwo.
Is probably my most underrated set from this entire theme, and this has to be the Mill. At $40, this set depicts the classic scene from the end of the second film and includes 4
aber ist doch ein geiles Set, muss ich sagen. Ich finde die Minifiguren auch sehr, sehr geil mit hier dem Dingstyp hier.
Being Will and Jack, who you've seen before, but also our only ever Norrington, my personal favorite character from the franchise, but probably the best looking figure in this set is another one of Davy Jones's Pirates, who uses an exclusive head mold and just looks great. The actual build here is actually really nice as well, showing accurately the bell tower, as well as the main feature of the set, the detachable mill itself. I love how it has both studded areas on the inside and outside, so you can show that incredible scene from the end of the movie, and I think this is just another great fun playset that does not break the bank. This now brings us to some of the biggest sets from this wave, the first being Whitecap Bay, once again from the 4th Pirates movie. This $80 set came with 6 minifigures and 745 pieces and is a really great fort build, which shows the scene where they attempt to get a mermaid's tear needed for the Fountain of Youth. Minifigure wise, you get Jack and a zombie, who we've seen before, but also this other pirate pirate called Scrum, and then the missionary Phil Swift.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Tape.
Ja,
No,
was?
he's literally called
Okay.
Philip Swift. There is the very generic mermaid,
Ja,
and
war nicht schlimm.
Sirena, the mermaid that falls in love with Philip. Looking at the build, this is once again a super unique set, being an actual military fort, which is something that we rarely ever see from LEGO these days. You get
Also was ich auf jeden Fall auch machen will, also ich werde nicht sterben, bevor ich alle Pirates of the Caribbean Sets habe.
two
Weil,
small boats
okay, vielleicht nicht alle, aber ja doch schon, irgendwie schon.
as well, and the overall set
Irgendwie
just looks
schon.
really strong.
Boah, ich will
at
die,
an
die sind
$80
alle so
price
geil,
point,
finde ich.
But I think maybe the only extra inclusion could have been the glass tank to keep Serena in.
Ja.
We are now down to the three biggest
Also Sets, die ich auf jeden Fall kaufen will, wir sehen
and
sie hier auch
arguably
gerade.
best sets of this entire theme, with Queen and
Die Queen Anne's Revenge und die alte Black Pearl, die will ich auf jeden Fall aber kaufen. Also werde ich auf jeden Fall irgendwann machen. Aber ja. Also ich werde mir die neue Black Pearl auf jeden Fall kaufen, dann habe ich die wenigstens, aber ja.
Anne's Revenge.
Ach, guck mal, weil das sieht so geil aus mit mit den roten Segeln hier. Ich finde das Set oder das Schiff, das sieht einfach so geil aus. Ich finde auch geil, wie hier einfach steht, the ship does not float. Aber ja, wirklich ein geiles Set,
as a
muss ich
part
sagen.
of this initial May 2011 wave. This, may I say, flagship set of the wave is truly
Ach ja, übrigens zum
something
Beweis,
made.
ich hab das Set damals, also das ist das letzte Set, was rauskam zum 5. Teil. Und ich baue es gerade wieder auf, deshalb.
At $120 with 1,097 pieces and 7 minutes.
Der guckt damals 120 Euro und heute wahrscheinlich so 4.000 bis 3.000 Euro. Oh, obwohl, nee, nicht ganz. Eher so 300, nicht 3.000, sorry. Eher 300 bis 400 Euro jetzt.
Figures, this set perfectly captures Blackbeard's ship from On Stranger Tides. To get the minifigures out of the
Ich habe aber auch schon ein paar Black Pearl Sets gesehen, die wirklich bei 3.000 Euro waren.
way, there is 3 zombies, 2 of which who appeared in that cheap Captain's Quarters set. We then have Jack Sparrow and his captain hat as well. There is then a cook and also Blackbeard again, who is still an incredible minifigure, but most importantly here is Angelica, featuring an exclusive hair hat combo and just a great looking minifigure overall. Now moving on to the main attraction itself, this ship is just spectacular. I think what gives it such a rich visual presence are the 9 different dark red cloth elements that are used for the sails. 1 at the front, 2 on the first sail, 3 in the middle, and then 1 at the back, and then even using 2 more as both dressings for either sides of the back of the ship. The flaming skeleton on the front uses a translucent body as well, which I've never seen before, and overall this ship just looks really menacing. There's even a series of bones all around the deck, and then a plethora of skeleton heads at the back. Overall, this is just a stellar set at $120, and with all those cloth and large hull elements, it's not that bad of a deal, making this one of LEGO's best looking ships ever. Before we get on to our next set, I just want to quickly highlight some of the poly bags and more special sets that we saw for this theme. There was first Jack Sparrow's boat, then Jack Sparrow himself, and this Pirates of the Caribbean battle pack. Poly bag
haben den
given
Antrag
out with
geskippt.
pre-orders of the video game, which is
crazy.
actually the voodoo doll that Blackbeard
Auch
has,
eigentlich eine geile
making this a
Minifigure.
completely unique and exclusive minifigure. The last poly bag actually leads us directly into the next set, which is the mini Black Pearl. This is of course Jack Sparrow's classic ship, which was later in November of 2011
Und da
turned
ist
into
es,
a
Leute.
full-size set in the Black
Das ist
Pearl.
wahrscheinlich legendärste Set aus der ganzen Reihe.
This $100 set came with 804 pieces and 6 minifigures, getting
Und
the less
hier sind einer der geilsten Minifiguren auch dabei.
interesting ones out of the way. We had another
mal
wheel
hier.
of Jack and
Hier der Markus, also hier der Hammerhai, Davy Jones, Jack Sparrow, Bill. Einfach so geile Minifiguren, muss ich sagen.
Gibbs. There was then Will's
Yes.
father, Bootstrap
Crazy.
Bill, another of Davy Jones's pirates, but most importantly, of course, was Davy
Die Davy
Jones
Jones Minifigur sieht so geil aus.
himself, arguably one of the greatest movie villains of all
So
time.
geil.
LEGO truly went all out with this minifigure, giving him a new beard, hat, and claw. And then getting onto the actual set itself, it just looks perfect. At $100, you get the Black Pearl
Sieht so
in
perfekt
all
aus.
of
Also
its
wie gesagt,
glory.
das ist halt die alte Black Pearl
Once
noch
again-
und also noch nicht die neue, aber die wird auch noch erwähnt später.
using 7
Also jetzt
pure
gleich.
black sails, adding to the imposing vibe that this ship gives off, and it's just the set that you think about when you think of Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. I won't go into full detail here, as we're going to be looking at this one a little bit later on in the video, so I think let's now just take our final
So, und das ist das Set, was ich habe.
most recent Lego Pirates of the
einzige
Caribbean
richtige.
set ever, which actually released significantly later than this one. In 2017, the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean movie released, titled Dead Men Tell No Tales, but at $200 we...
Genau, oh, 200 Euro hat das damals gekostet. Okay, aber ich weiß, dass ich jetzt damals, ich glaube, zu Weihnachten bekommen habe. Oder für meinen Geburtstag, ich weiß nicht genau.
got the Silent Mary.
Okay, zum Spielen ist das Set nicht geil, aber zum Hinstellen und zum Angucken ist das Set wirklich 10 von 10, weil
Which is the biggest and most expensive Pirates of the Caribbean set up to this point, and depicts Salazar's undead ghost ship from the movie. Starting with the minifigures,
die Minifiguren sind auch alle wirklich so geil.
you get Salazar and 3 of his ghost pirates, as well as an updated and beautiful looking Jack.
Und die Jack, also die neue, die updated Jack-Minifigur mit der neuen Bedruckung hier oben in den Haaren auch wirklich so geil. Ich liebe die Minifigur noch immer bis heute, so krass.
Sparrow, with then Henry and Karina as well, the respective son of Will and Elizabeth and the daughter of Barbossa. Looking at the set itself, this is completely brick built, not using any kind of large hull pieces like the previous 2 ships we've seen, and LEGO even went ahead and included clear stand pieces to make the ship look as if it's kind of floating. The sails are ripped and tattered, and you can even knock an entire one over, and there are then 2 zombie sharks
Die
off to the
Haie
side,
waren auch
which
richtig geil, muss ich sagen.
look incredibly cool, molded in a gunmetal grey, and a small rowboat too. Don't get me wrong, this set looks cool, but I just don't think it's anywhere near as good as Queen Anne's Revenge or the Black Pearl. Maybe that's just because it's less iconic, but I personally much prefer a full ship with sails rather than this very bare looking skeleton. This now brings us to the end of all of the sets from this theme,
Ja,
which
also
is
das waren die Sets, die damals rauskamen, und jetzt kommen wir halt zum neuen Set, was auch eigentlich so random kam, aber die neue Black Pearl, die wird in ein paar Tagen auch bekommen.
actually about to include one more with this new Black Pearl set coming later
Guck mal, wie geil das Set aussieht.
this year. This set will include 2,862 pieces and is supposedly retailing for $380, which
Was es auch zum teuersten Set macht, aktuell, also jetzt gerade war es ja die Silent Mary für 200 Euro, und das hier ist jetzt das
is
neue
pretty
teuerste
absurd.
Set.
From first impressions, this set looks pretty amazing and I love the angled back. It looks to have 8 full cloth elements, with many having accurate rips and tattering, and then a full selection of 8 minifigures as well. You get
So, wann kommen wir jetzt eigentlich zum eigentlichen Thema des Videos, weil er hat ja bis jetzt eigentlich nur alle Sets gezeigt, aber es geht ja eigentlich um, warum Lego Flucht der Karibik gescheitert. Bis jetzt ist dazu aber noch nichts gekommen. Ich hoffe, das kommt jetzt aber.
3 of Jack's crew, and I especially love this short guy, as he was always someone that I really wanted to see in LEGO, such a fun character from the movies. There is then a new Gibbs and Will Turner, but best of all though is this new Barbossa with a new hair hat mold, and then Elizabeth Swann in her dress from the beginning of the first movie. I just wish she had a different face print. Last is Jack Sparrow himself, who LEGO went all out for, bringing back that hair hat mold, but giving him an updated torso and leg print, even with dual molding on the legs to show brown boots, and the torso has a base color of white this time, which I'm not too sure about. I'm thinking maybe the figure would have looked better if they used blue for that base color. The name of this set, as you can see on the box, looks to be called Captain Jack Sparrow's Pirate Ship, which sounds so stupid. I'm wondering if this is some kind of Slave 1 type of deal, where maybe LEGO doesn't want to use the word black, but I genuinely have no idea. Regardless, at $380,
Sieht so geil aus, das Set. Ich freue mich so krass, dieses Set endlich aufzubauen.
it seems very, very high. I could understand it being $320 since it has those cloth pieces, but $380
Aber
is
sieht wirklich
just
so geil aus,
stretch.
muss ich sagen.
Speaking of
Holy
prices though, all of these older sets have shot up in value over the past 14 years.
Holy moly.
Quick editing note, they just revealed this little compass.
Ah ja, stimmt, ja, das wurde tatsächlich auch mit revealed, weil wenn man das Set kauft, also die neue Black Pearl, bekommt man als GWP, also Gift with Purchase, was auch immer, hier den Kompass auch dazu. Finde ich auch eigentlich sehr, sehr geil, muss ich sagen.
Gift with purchase as well. which isn't anything crazy, but it's an extra set, so I figured I'd include it.
Ja.
Anyway, back to the retail to today. First, we had Isla die Murta, which is now about 140 sealed.
Ja, der,
Same
guck mal hier. 140 Euro.
with the Cannibal Escape.
Okay, ich habe ein bisschen mit dem Preis übertrieben vorhin mit 400 Euro,
The
aber
Mill is sitting
ja.
at around 150, with the Captain's Cabin being
Ja, okay, so teuer sind die jetzt dann doch nicht, wie ich gedacht habe. Also ich habe ja vorhin die ganze Zeit gesagt, so 300, 400 Euro, aber okay, ja doch, so teuer sind jetzt doch nicht.
about 50.
Habe ich mich ein
The
bisschen
Fountain of
geirrt dann.
Youth goes for around 120, and the London Escape is around
Das ist
100,
eigentlich
since it's
egal.
a bit of a bigger set. Whitecap Bay is around 230 today, and Queen Anne's Revenge takes the cake though, at over $800.
Oh, 800 Euro? Okay, da habe ich mich definitiv zu wenig mit dem Preis geirrt. Hier habe ich ja vorhin gesagt, irgendwie so 300, 400 Euro, aber 800 Euro ist crazy.
The Silent Mary comes in at just over 400, having
Okay, 400 Euro. Ich habe ein 400 Euro
not
Set.
grown as much as the other sets, considering it was only released around 8 years ago. But then, biggest of all, is the original Black Pearl.
Okay, wie
a
viel
set
kostet
you'd be
das?
lucky to find at under 1,000 US.
Okay, das ist crazy.
So now that we've looked at all of the sets, minifigures, and the video game for this theme, let's answer the title question of
Genau.
why did
Wir haben jetzt einfach 14 Minuten mit etwas anderem verbracht. Jetzt kommen wir eigentlich endlich zu dem, was eigentlich im Video geht. Lül.
Lego
Ja.
Pirates of the Caribbean fail? And is it actually making a comeback? It's interesting to me just how short-lived this theme actually was when you think about it. It had
Ja.
9
Also es
sets
war wirklich eigentlich nicht lange. Das ging eigentlich wirklich gar nicht lange.
in its
That's
first
crazy.
year, before not getting anything for another 6 before we've seen another set. I think ultimately a big reason for this is just because of the franchise of movies not having the best performance since 2011 when that 4th movie came out. The 4th film was not as well received as the first 3, and the franchise has been pretty quiet ever since. We did get Dead Men Tell No Tales, but it wasn't really anything of a critically acclaimed film, with a lot of fans, including myself, feeling that it was generally kind of a pointless movie and didn't really justify its own existence despite making $800 million at the box office. Since then, of course, Johnny Depp has been completely quiet and kept out of the news. I'm only joking. There was that world-stopping court case between he and Amber Heard, which certainly has not meant smooth sailing for this franchise. But from then on, over the past few years, there's been countless rumors of a reboot starring Margot Robbie or a 6th film with Johnny Depp coming back. Regardless, this franchise just isn't as stable as Marvel or Star Wars, and without a constant flow of new content to generate excitement, there hasn't been enough demand for new Lego sets, despite how great these original 2011 sets were. I mean, their aftermarket values prove that there is demand. What also adds to these Lego sets perhaps not performing the best is the lack of interest in pirates as a theme in general, one that was once upon a time one of Lego's
Ja,
best.
die alten Piraten-Sets.
Alongside castle and space. It just seems as though, similar to how Lord of the Rings sort of failed to birth a new castle evergreen theme, Pirates of the Caribbean failed to do so for pirates as well. We saw a short-lived theme in 2015 full of homages to the original Lego Pirate sets, but it just didn't sell enough for Lego to continue making more. So do I think this theme could return? Well, yes, because it actually already has, but in a much bigger way, more so than just a
Ich sag so, wir haben jetzt die neue Black Pearl gleich. Gebt uns jetzt einfach Sets zum 3. Teil. Ihr habt es damals nicht gemacht. Mal wieder ein kleines Comeback. Jetzt gebt uns bitte auch mal Sets zum 3. Teil. Please. Und gibt uns auch sowas wie das hier, aber in der hier in der Flying Dutchman.
one-off 18 plus collector set. I think it could. It just depends how this new Black Pearl does. I mean, can Captain Jack Sparrow's pirate ship actually sell? Pirates movie in the next few years could definitely change this, with Lego having a great working relationship with Disney, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm just scared that $380 is way too high for the average consumer for this set, essentially the price of all 8 of the first wave of sets in one, making Lego think that maybe people don't actually want to see more Pirates of the Caribbean sets, which I think we do, We just don't want ginormous, massive sets. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know in the comments if there's any other LEGO themes you'd like me to...
Ja, so, also das Video ist jetzt vorbei. Okay, eigentlich ging es um Thema vom Video hier nur in den letzten paar Minuten. Aber ansonsten haben wir eigentlich nur die ganzen Sets gezeigt bekommen. So, aber ich hoffe, euch hat es gefallen. War mal wieder ein bisschen eine längere Reaction. Und ja, lasst gerne ein Like und ein Abo da für die nächsten Reactions, die jetzt kommen. Und ja, ciao, Leute.